10 of the world's most dangerous plants. We have all heard about how pretty and great plants are for the environment, but rarely does anyone discuss the terrifying plants out there. We have rounded up the top 10 most dangerous plants there are. Did you know that there are carnivorous plants? Yeah, plants that actually prefer to eat meat. We're sure you've heard about the Venus flytrap before. They've made their fair share of appearances in movies and cartoons. But there are scarier plants than just that. Plants that can kill you, or worse, drive you to your own death. Wait till you hear about the plant dubbed as the suicide plant. Hello, Infomaniacs, and welcome to Info Junkie TV, where we teach you all about the world's weirdest and most fascinating things. As always, make sure you like our video, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more mind-blowing topics. Number 10. The Mancan Tree. A tree so toxic that you should not stand underneath it when it rains. The Mancan Tree, found all over Central and South America, looks innocent, but don't let its looks deceive you. It is actually considered one of the most dangerous trees in the world. The Mancan Tree produces a tropical green fruit called beach apple that resembles a guava. But in 1999, when radiologist Nicholas Strickland took a bite from the fruit in her holiday to Tobago, her mouth and throat started to burn. The poison guava contains a deadly sap that swelled Nicholas Strickland's throat, causing her difficulty in swallowing and infecting her digestive tract. But the Mancan Tree has even more terrifying features to it. If you merely touch the tree or stand underneath the tree during rainy weather, the water dripping from the tree can cause intense skin reactions, like a severe rash breakout or blisters on your skin. You don't want to set fire to the tree either. Scarily enough, the smoke can blind you. In fact, the tree is so deadly that tribes used to plant the Mancan Tree so that they could tie prisoners to the tree's base. The prisoners would then die a slow and torturous death. So, if you're on vacation in the Caribbean, be careful of what trees you come into contact with. Number 9. Wolfsbane. You might have heard of Wolfsbane in fantasy movies as a treatment for being a werewolf. In reality, people used to actually use Wolfsbane as a cure for being a vampire. Except the only problem is that werewolves don't exist, and neither do vampires. Well, the other problem is that Wolfsbane is incredibly poisonous. Wolfsbane goes by many names: Monk's Hood, Devil's Helmet, Leopard's Bane, Mouse Bane, Women's Bane, Queen of Poison, or Blue Rocket. And if you just touch this pretty and purple plant, it will most certainly kill you. But before it does that, you will feel immense stomach pain. A pain so strong that it will cause you to lose control of your bodily functions and poop your pants. And it gets worse. Wolfsbane will then paralyze you as the poison takes control, damaging your brain, shutting down your lungs, and then causing your heart to stop. The plant's colors are enchanting, found in blue, red, pink, white, but mostly a deep entrancing purple. The only way to save a person infected by Wolfsbane is if they are instantly given activated charcoal and atrophy. Number 8. Water Hemlock. Who knew something so delicate could be so fatal? Water hemlock is one of the most poisonous plants in North America. A poisonous plant that stands up to 2.5 meters tall, bearing an assortment of green or white flowers in an ornate umbrella-like shape. The extremely toxic plant can be found in the United States or Europe, especially around wet marshy areas like riverbanks, streams, ponds, or irrigation ditches. You'll want to make sure kids or dogs steer away from them as you're taking a walk in these areas. Water hemlock contains a toxin called cyclotoxin, which if eaten, affects the central nervous system, causing symptoms like seizures, loss of consciousness, violent muscle contractions, and eventually, death. The symptoms can begin within 15 minutes of digesting the plant. There have been reports of human deaths because of this plant, but also wandering livestock which graze in these areas. There are certainly remedies for this poisonous plant, but only if taken quickly enough. But your best bet is to keep your distance from water hemlock. If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons down below. It helps the channel grow, and it helps more people see our channel and learn about these crazy facts. You never know, you might be saving the life of someone by sharing this video. Now, back to our list with number 7, white bainberry. White bainberry is a native wildflower that resembles white berries, but also looks like the eyes of a doll, hence its nickname, doll's eye. The white berries have a dark purple spot that looks like the pupil of the eye and are held by deep pink-colored stems. They grow mostly in North America in moist wooded areas between May and June in eastern Canada or the Midwest. And as tempted as you may be to check them out because of how strange they look, you better keep away from this killer plant with hazardous toxins. If a person eats them, they will become delirious, have severe stomach problems, and their circulatory and respiratory systems will soon shut down. These berries are rumored to have been used by Native American warriors against their enemies by dipping their arrows in the juice of the berries. The berries were also said to be used for medicinal purposes, for instance, to cure snakebite victims, as it would help the patient throw up the venom. The roots of the plant are used in small quantities as a painkiller, which helps with childbirth pains, headaches, and coughs. We don't recommend trying this at home though, or anywhere for that matter, because it could be fatal. Number 6, white snakeroot. This perennial herb known as white snakeroot is found in North America, and the pretty plant can stand up to 5 feet tall. Don't let its looks fool you though. White snakeroot, also known as white sanicle, is the kind of plant that accidentally kills people because of the deadly toxin that it contains. White snakeroot contains a chemical called tramadol. Consuming too much of tramadol can cause fatigue, muscle tremors, and digestive problems, and if not treated, it can lead to death. It is usually found in pastures in the Midwestern United States. The thing about this scary plant is that it attracts animals, and if cows accidentally eat it, it seeps into their meat and milk, which then infects anyone who consumes them. Getting sick from infected milk is called milk sickness, which was a major epidemic killing thousands of people in the 1800s when the plant was not yet known about. It even infected and killed the mother of a well-known U.S. president, Abraham Lincoln. Number 5, the stinging bush. The stinging bush got its name from, well, you guessed it, it stings. Its leaves and stems are covered with little stinging hairs known as nettles that inject you like a needle if you touch them. Also known as Junkie, the moonlighter, or the suicide plant, which we will explain in a moment. This plant is native to the rainforests in Australia. They don't look dangerous at first glance, but you can barely see the nettles on them with your naked eye. Even merely touching the little stingers can cause agonizing pain, described as being worse than the pain of electrocution. The toxin in the stinging bush can cause swelling and pain that can last even years after the little stingers are removed from your skin. Even if you don't touch the plant, you should steer away from this leafy plant. Breathing in the nettles in the air can cause nasal bleeding and sometimes permanent sinus damage. You can identify them in the wild by the bright purple fruit that the plant bears from under its heart-shaped leaves. So why is this plant dubbed as the suicide plant? There are stories of people and animals that were in such excruciating pain due to being infected by the stinging bush that they took their own lives. If you are ever stung by this plant, be sure to carefully remove the nettles from your skin to stop the toxins from being injected into your skin, and apply diluted hydrochloric acid to the infected area. Number 4, Rosary Pea. Also known as crab's eye, the licorice wine, or jumby bead. The rosary pea is a climbing vine that is native to Indonesia, but is also found in the US, South America, and the Caribbean. You can identify the plant from the pea's bright red color and black tip. Indonesians and Catholics usually use this plant to make rosaries, a string of beads used as a religious form of devotion for counting. But the seeds are also used for jewelry in some places because of their striking color. No, they are not hazardous to the touch, but if you eat them, or if they touch an open wound, then the poison in the plant will infect the body. The poison called abrin is one of the most potent poisons there is, with less than 3 micrograms being capable of killing any human. The poison dehydrates the body and shuts down the organs of the body. And don't burn this plant either. If the smoke of the rosary pea is inhaled, it can cause vicious coughs, internal bleeding, organ failure, and eventually death. The symptoms of this plant can be extremely painful, and so far, A cure of the abrin toxin has not been found, so do your best to avoid this plant at all costs. Number 3. Castor bean plant. You may have heard of castor if you've used it for your hair, your skin, or as a laxative. While the oil produced from the plant contains moisturizing properties, the castor bean plant itself is not something to be toyed with. The bright, colorful plant found in tropical regions around the world contains a dangerous chemical called ricin, which is what makes the plant so dangerous. Ricin, which you may have heard about if you're a Breaking Bad fan, is extracted from the castor bean plant seed to be used as poison. Only 2 milligrams of ricin is enough to be fatal, with no remedies discovered to date. You don't have to extract the ricin to be poisoned either. Merely ingesting a few of the beans could be enough to be deadly. Although harvesting castor bean plants is common for the pharmaceutical products that we make out of the plant, it is not recommended to grow them in areas with children or pets. The bright colors of the plant might be alluring for children. Number 2. Angel's Trumpet. Angel's Trumpet is the only trumpet you should not be blowing. The flower is shaped like a musical instrument and is found in South America, in particular the Amazon rainforest, but also in other tropical forests around the world. The attractive plant is sometimes used as an ornamental decoration, but the plant actually contains a dangerous amount of tropane alkaloids, a toxin that, if ingested, can cause seizures, fever, paralysis, extreme violence, and psychologically impairing hallucinations. There have even been cases of self-harm, such as the story of a boy who brewed the flower in tea and ended up cutting off his own penis. Yikes. The psychedelic plant has been used by South American shamans in rituals where they brew angel's trumpet in tea, but it can be fatal if it's not done correctly. People who tried to experiment with this plant without guidance have suffered either from permanent madness or a fatal death. Number 1. Lily of the Valley. You may have heard of this flower from the famous TV series Breaking Bad. Fun fact, this white flowering herb is actually the national flower of Finland, but is found in the eastern United States and Eurasia. The lilies of the bell-shaped flower give off a pleasant smell, but are best avoided. They contain more than 40 types of cardiac glycosides. Consuming even a small quantity of this plant can cause symptoms ranging from migraines to vomiting to disorientation and even strokes or heart attacks. Well, that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed this video and look forward to reading your thoughts and comments below. Which plant was the scariest for you, and which would you like to most avoid? Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more mind-boggling content. See you next time, Infomaniacs, and thank you for watching Info Junkie TV.